Day in news.
Talk Live. Gun Talk Live. We're working on the new the new jingle for Gun Talk. It's Gun Talk Live. We're gonna go live on Gun
You got some
Talk.
news for us?
I got some news for you. They're still coming for your guns. That's the news. So Tom went to the state capitol. We're here in Louisiana. Tom went to the state capitol yesterday because there are 4 or 5, I believe they were all pro-gun bills being introduced into committee. And he got there about an hour before the committee hearing, and there were probably 24 gun guys wearing red shirts to indicate they were gun guys, and let the powers that be know that we're here and we're in favor of gun rights. So that was pretty cool. So, you know, despite the fact that COVID is going on and all these things, they are still, in fact, coming for your guns. And so you got to be vigilant about it. You got to stay on top of the news. You got to be emailing your legislators about it. So, you know, it's happening. But it looks like I see we are live on Facebook, and KJ, you're watching the YouTubes, right?
I'm watching the YouTube, guys. It's raining here, so if you hear some white noise on over, it's not your monitor, it's not your speakers, it's the rain.
Yeah, it's a little thundery.
Oh, Ryan, I got to show you this. Okay, I've got to give a special shout out to Jonathan Ramos of Stip Grips. I just got in the 43X. Now I'm going to show you guys the Glock that I did compared to the one that he did. So check this out.
Yes, it's helpful to understand the difference.
Okay, this is mine. See how rigid that is and kind of ugly? I like it, but it ain't this. Look at this. How sick is that? But the best is on the other side. Look what he did. Input the Gun Talk logo in there.
GT.
Yeah, there is not a burr on this grip. It's smooth. It's done perfectly. Hey, Stip Grips, you guys need to give them a shout. These guys do a great job.
We actually make no money on this, but you're just so happy about it, aren't you?
I am. I'm happy about it. He does a great job, and man, he's small business. And now one thing that's really cool about it, since we've done our broadcast, people have kept him so busy through the whole quarantine deal that he is actually right now not taking any orders at the moment.
Jeez. We did too good. Sorry about that, everybody.
Probably. But yeah,
well,
and then
good.
our
well,
winner
all right,
this
everybody,
week.
we are. Go ahead.
Our winner this week for the O-Light, you know, who won that? That is Mr. John Denopria off of the YouTube comments. So congratulations to John. Hit me up, kj@guntalk.com, and we'll get you your lights. This week, a lockdown magnet, and I've got another Yeti tumbler for you guys. So lockdown magnet and a tumbler.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, John looks like he wants to have a discussion about lumens and candela. We can get into the weeds of light science, light geekery. So everybody, welcome in, man. This is Gun Talk Live. Gun Talk Live today is brought to you by Springfield Armory. You know them, you love them. And also, we've got a couple other Ruger and Sig Sauer. But, you know, we do also have another giveaway going on. And we should let you know because this one ends on Monday, and this is a big one. Enter at guntalk.com/win. It's called the Go Long Giveaway. The grand prize, wait for it, a Daniel Defense Delta 5 bolt-action rifle, chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, a Crimson Trace optics pack with their 5 Series 3 to 24 power rifle scope, Wheeler scope rings, Crimson Trace throw levers, Railmaster universal laser sight, Caldwell Shooting Supplies range pack with AR-500 steel targets, precision turret rest, ballistic precision sight and target camera, EMAX Pro hearing protection, Timney triggers, Calvin Elite M700 trigger. That's a sweet trigger. Lockdown security pack with the lockdown puck, and in plain sight hidden storage shelf. 2 first prize winners will receive a lockdown puck, lockdown in plain sight storage shelf, and a Timney Impact AR trigger. All right,
Is that it? Is that all, is that all they're going to win?
I know, it's redonkulous. So if you haven't signed up yet, you should do so because that is a serious prize pack.
Yeah, that's big time. Moving on to our second subject, which probably is our like fifth or sixth. Ryan, you had a chance to talk with someone about new gun owners and some stuff that the NSSF is doing this week. Give us a rundown.
All right, so I think our audience probably is familiar with NSSF, the National Shooting Sports Foundation. These are the guys who put on the SHOT Show. They're the ones that do it. They're also an industry trade organization. But we had a chance to sit down with Joe Bartozzi, CEO and president of the NSSF, to find out what they're doing, what they're working on right now, and helping you guys out during this COVID crisis. So take a look. We'd like to welcome in the president and CEO of the NSSF, the National Shooting Sports Foundation, Joe Bartozzi. Joe, welcome in.
Thanks very much for having me, Ryan. It's great to be here.
For people who maybe aren't that familiar with the NSSF, tell them a little bit about you guys and what you do.
Sure. Before I get started with that, I'd like to just mention that today is a big deal for me because this now represents 3 generations of Greshams that have interviewed me or I've talked to over the years. So having known and been interviewed by Gris Gresham and of course Tom Gresham, so this is kind of a big deal. So I really appreciate your time here and putting me on the show with you.
Well, thank you. Yeah. You know, we keep doing this thing. The Gresham Gun Talk legacy keeps churning on. So we're happy to have you on. National Shooting Sports Foundation is kind of one of these organizations that does a whole lot of things, but some people aren't familiar with who it is and what you guys do.
Right. Well, we're the trade association for the firearms and ammunition industry. We represent gun retailers, gun manufacturers, distributors, endemic media, nonprofits. We have a lot of groups. We've got over 9,000 members that are organizations, not individuals. We work with government relations folks all over the country. We've got boots on the ground in 50 states. We have a presence on Capitol Hill in DC. So, legislative affairs and government relations is a big part of what we do. Of course, the SHOT Show is a huge event that we put on every year. Right. Very important that we bring in thousands of buyers, partner them up with thousands of exhibitors, and then add in media from all over the world. And it's a one-stop shopping and most extraordinary event. We do research on all different types of topics, everything from what people are buying to how many guns are being sold, all sorts of programs on how to speak to non-hunters and non-shooters about firearms. It's a big part of what we do is to communicate, get the word out, and of course, not to mention our safety programs. We've got Project Child Safe, which is now in 21 years in the making, having distributed over 38 million gun safety kits and gun locks to educate people and give them the means to provide for safe storage of their firearms when they're not being used. And we're very happy to say that, in the just over 20 years that Child Safe's been in existence, accidental fatalities regarding firearms is down 45%. So a big part of that is education, and we're on the forefront of that education process. We have things like partnerships with the ATF, that's the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. We partner with them on 2 major themes. One is preventing illegal purchases at retail, and that's our Don't Lie for the Other Guy campaign. And we also have a program called Operation Secure Store, where we go in and we educate folks using ATF guidance and information, but we go out and we actually have trainers go in and talk to retailers about physical security of their stores. So again, a very important project for us, and thankfully we're seeing the numbers of thefts and burglaries from gun shops declining.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of success stories there on what you guys are doing. I think a lot of those programs, our audience probably may have heard about it and they're going, oh, I didn't realize that the National Shooting Sports Foundation was the one doing all this stuff. I mean, and there's a lot of things happening right now that are pertinent to this COVID crisis, the quarantine. There's been a few issues that you guys have been working on. I mean, the first one that we were talking about is helping gun stores in all these different states be deemed as essential businesses. Tell me about that.
Yeah, when the pandemic started to hit the shores of the U.S., we realized from our members, frankly, that there was a lot of uncertainty when governors started talking about shutting down certain businesses. So we reached out, our GR folks reached out to the Department of Homeland Security and asked them to deem manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and ranges as essential business. That is part of the critical infrastructure of the company, of the country, I should say. And I guess the point is, so many of our member companies either have Department of Defense or law enforcement contracts to supply guns and ammunition. Of course, law enforcement folks go to ranges to practice, keep their skills up. So we reached out, made the request, and thankfully the DHS granted that and made that part of the critical infrastructure for the country.
Some great successes on that side of things. And I mean, you also see that the citizens of the US deem it essential because there are a lot of gun purchases happening right now. For people who are, and we see it record numbers in March, record gun sales in April, and a lot of those purchases are first time or relatively new gun buyers. For people who've just bought a gun and they're looking into this, they're wanting to get education, they're looking, where can I go hunting, where can I go shooting? You guys have some resources for them, right?
Yeah, for sure. We have websites, letsgohunting.org and letsgoshooting.org. And particularly like in the letsgoshooting.org, there's a range locator there. You can click on the link and put in your zip code and it'll show the ranges close by. Of course, most are probably going to be open. Some may not yet be open. Some are just starting to open now. So, check, when you find out where you are locally, you can check with the ranges to see if they're open. But we also have our First Shots program, which is going to be going on to get a lot of these first-time gun owners out to safely train and to learn how to use their firearms properly and safely. So we're very excited about launching that this year, especially now with so many new buyers in the field.
Yeah, the First Shots program is just fantastic, bringing out people to take those first shots. And the success that we're seeing after they actually get out to the range, we find that when people get out to the range and they try it out, like 99% of them go, this is so much fun, I want to get back to it, which is so cool. There's another issue that's happening right now with people being quarantined and cooped up. There are some issues with depression and suicide, but that's something that you guys have been working on for a while now.
Yeah, we've had a program now in a partnership with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, as well as the Department of Veterans Affairs to prevent suicide. It's a priority of ours. It's one of our top 5 programs that we're running. And we've now sent out literature and materials to educate our retailers and range members and non-members as well in some of the warning signs regarding suicide and some of the things they can do to help. There's numbers they can reach out to, websites they can go to for more information. But the point is, we are trying very hard and are working with our partners at AFSP in the VA to reduce the number of suicide by firearm in this country.
That's fantastic. Well, as we're starting to see things open up a little bit around the country, I know that people are eager to get out there. They're eager to go shooting, go hunting, all that type of stuff. You guys started something that I think is pretty neat called the PlusOne movement. And what is that and how do people get involved?
The PlusOne movement is a mentorship and recruitment program of ours. We started it at SHOT Show 2019, so about a little over a year and 4 months ago. The point is, we want every hunter and shooter in this country to recruit one non-hunter or non-shooter, get them out to the range, get them into the field. And really, it's about creating that bond, that mentorship, and demystifying hunting in the shooting sports. We really are very encouraged by the results we've had. We have a pledge on our website. You can go click on the PlusOne movement and you can take the pledge. And, we thought about 6-8 months ago, if we could get 100,000 people to take the pledge, we'd be doing pretty well and actually move the needle here. We actually, at this point, are about 600,000 pledges in just over a year. So we are absolutely excited and stoked about this thing. We really think it could mean the future of the shooting sports and hunting if we can get people to take one of their non-hunting or non-shooting buddies out to the field.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you guys have done a lot of studies over the years, and when people are asked, if you were invited to go to the shooting range, would you go? And the majority of people say absolutely, and we know when we get them out there, they enjoy it. So, I mean, a PlusOne idea is brilliant. You can double our ranks, and now these people are not just those shooters, those gun owners. So it's I'm a gun owner, I'm a shooter, and not only is it fun because you have more people participating, but it helps, long term with the gun rights and all these other things.
Absolutely, it absolutely does. It's really important to get them into the mix to understand why people are so passionate about the shooting sports or about hunting. And this is the best way to do it. Just get them hands on, and I think it's a great program, and we're very excited about it.
So for people interested in what we've talked about, where can they go to find out more?
The best place to go is nssf.org. That's our main webpage, and from there you can find links to all the different programs we talked about and the range locator and things like that we've discussed already.
All right. Joe Bartozzi, National Shooting Sports Foundation. You guys are doing awesome stuff. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks very much, Ryan. It's great to talk to you.
So there
That's
you go.
pretty powerful stuff.
NSSF, they're doing really good stuff, man. We have to do this stuff. We got to have companies that support us to make this possible. Wanted to tell you about two of them today. Ruger. You guys know Ruger. One of their new products is the new Light Rack LCP2 in 22 LR. Yeah, a 22 LCP. Low recoil, easy to manipulate slide, shoots comfortably regardless of your hand size or strength. Perfect for new shooters, older shooters, or frankly, if you just want to get a little trigger time for cheap shooting, cheap ammo. The Light Rack system combines refined slide serrations, pronounced cocking ears, a lot of little stuff they do to make it easier to run the gun. It's a 10+1 capacity. Of course, you can find out more at Ruger.com. Also, Sig Sauer. Sig Sauer's elite performance ammunition. Did you know that they're an ammo company? Yeah. They're manufactured in Arkansas. The ammo's made in Arkansas, and it's their own plant. No one's building it for them these days. So it's Sig Sauer from start to finish. They've got 147 grain Elite V Crown. We've tested it. It works great. 180 grain Elite Ball FMJ in 10 millimeter. These are just a couple different samples. 140 grain Elite Match in 6.5 Creedmoor, maybe to go with that Yale Defense that you win from our giveaway. Sig Sauer ammo is ready to be shipped to your house today. Buy ammo. SigSauer.com or a retailer near you. So, KJ,
So I do
have some
have a
stuff to
funny
talk
story
about.
about Ruger. So last week was 5.7, right, on Thursday. So we told Luke that, hey, we'll run out there and we'll shoot the Ruger 5.7 on 5.7. I went back, I looked, I didn't have any ammo for the gun. The ammo actually got in on 5.8, so I missed it by 1 day.
Yeah, it's funny. 5.7 ammo. Not a lot of people are making it. There wasn't a lot being made anyway because it's a little bit special. There's not a ton of guns chambered in the 5.7, but what's happened is Ruger came out with this 5.7 pistol. A lot of people are excited about it. They're buying them up, and it's become even harder to find 5.7 ammo. Federal is one of them making it, but you kind of have to scrounge around to find it, man.
You do, definitely. So we had a call on Gun Talk Radio, and if you guys aren't listening, you guys have a lot of options on where to listen, how to listen. Just visit guntalk.com/Gun Talk Radio, and you can find all the stations and where you can listen. So, batteries and trusting your life to those batteries when you need it the most. Tom had a caller, and you guys just need to listen right here.
Back with you, 866 Talk Gun. Patrick's with us on line 3 out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. Patrick, you got a bone to pick. You don't agree with me on the red dots. Why not?
Well, I had an experience years ago. I bought a pistol that has the rail below the frame in front of the trigger,
Okay.
where you could mount lights, laser sights, that kind of thing. And I just happened to have a laser sight on another firearm.
Okay.
So I thought this would be cool to put on this new pistol. So I took it off the other gun, mounted it on my pistol, really liked the look of it, and decided I had to run this out to the range right away and get this thing sighted in so I could be able to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So I packed up all my shooting gear, loaded the truck, and headed out to the range. Got out there, got a good shooting position on a bench, had a target out at 40 meters, and got myself positioned and flipped on the switch to the laser light, The batteries were dead.
Had you put new
And it
batteries
suddenly
in?
occurred to me, if I used any kind of a battery-powered optic whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
the time I might need it the most, especially if it's a self-defense issue, I don't need a battery going out on me.
Don't want a battery going out. So, it's a great question. Obviously, I think the products for shooters and hunters have become more high tech. And a lot of that means electronics and batteries and those types of things. And there are still people who say, man, I don't trust batteries. And whether that's on a defensive gun, sight, laser, whatever it may be, or, a hunt. Hunts can be time consuming, expensive, whatever. Do you trust your gear to batteries? So we thought we'd open it up for you guys watching out there and get your thoughts on, do you trust batteries? I personally would say this, KJ. I think that, what the guy said is he just went out to the range. He didn't check his gear before he left for the range. So perhaps he should have checked his gear and seen if he should have replaced the batteries before he got to the range. And, I think it's always good to have a backup, though. What do you think?
I think it's always good to have a backup because you look at this gun right here, and I've got battery operated light. I've got basically, it needs to be down. Okay, I'm sorry. Michael's behind the scenes going, put the gun down so they can actually see it. But it's kind of a solar powered red dot right here. But I always have my iron sights. So yes, you do have to have a backup. And we've got some great comments rolling in. Luke Capria says, you change the oil in your car, right? Maintenance. It's about maintaining the tools. Boyd said, it's about maintaining your equipment, and you're not just going to take your gun and carry your gun every day without checking it, right? At least I hope you guys aren't. If you aren't, you're behind the curve, man, and that's when things will go wrong.
Yeah. And it depends, right? So you kind of have to know the life of the batteries of these stuff. So there are certain things like certain red dot optics that the battery life is actually really impressive. It's like 50,000 hours on. And so it's really, I think it's like every 4 or 5 years to change them, which is really impressive. Over on the Facebook side, Chad says, working the red dot sight into my EDC. So far, really like it, but I still have co-witnessed iron sights. Yeah, there are certain pistols that you can put a red dot on, but you have to take the rear sight off. I'm not really in love with that idea. I kind of still want to have the iron sights there. Brian says the batteries are 99 cents for 4. Just, keep extra batteries around.
Here's the deal. If you thought like changing out a mag during a fight is going to be tough, imagine trying to change out a battery in the middle of a fight. Impossible.
Hold on. Hold on. Yeah. Or on a hunt or whatever it may be. Yeah. I mean, I think you want to gear up, make sure everything's running. I guess perhaps it's a little bit like doing a press check or checking all, while you're putting on your gear to go out for the day. Make sure if you're using a red dot sight on your gun or a laser, hey, is it still turned on? Okay, it still turns on. It could still go out at any moment. That could happen.
Right.
But, if you're checking it each day when you put on your gun, you go, yep, everything looks good. Then,
Well, and you look at it like this. If you were to listen to that phone conversation, I urge you guys to do it. If you are on YouTube, it's also on YouTube. The little clip is there. It's a little bit longer. But listen to Tom and what he says. On your birthday, happens every year, right? Change them out on your birthday. Just make a note. Change out all your batteries on all your guns. That way you never have to worry about it. 50,000 hours, you've got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that people are becoming more comfortable with. Obviously, I would say 10 years ago, the idea of having red dot sight or even a laser on your gun, most people were not comfortable with that. Now, as the technology's gotten better and the battery life is a lot longer and the reliability of these things about, durability on guns is better, we're starting to get a lot more comfortable with it. And ultimately, they can help you be that more successful in shooting faster and shooting accurately, that it's a big deal. And what do you now? Here's a question for you. What about batteries versus now we have a lot of rechargeable stuff? Plug it into your USB. What do you think about that?
That's a good question. How often, how long do those last? I mean, those are my questions. We've run ATN optics, which are also rechargeable. I haven't had any issues with them as long as you remember to charge them. I mean, that's going to be your key issue, is that setting yourself a reminder. We've had that come in. I think Boyd said that. Just set a reminder on your calendar. But as long as you're remembering and recharging those, you're not going to have an issue. It's when you forget to recharge them that's going to be an issue.
Well, I think it's becoming easier to recharge it because, God, we have it in our cars now, our trucks. And I'll do that. You're driving somewhere, and I have a rechargeable flashlight that I carry now, and it doesn't have external, removable batteries. It's USB, and I'll just charge it up in my truck every so often, and I haven't had any problems yet. Now I know that, and that's a Surefire. I know that we've had Andrew from Surefire on the show several times. They actually have a dual fuel. They call it dual fuel light. That's both external batteries as well as rechargeable. So it's a belt and suspenders situation if you really, really want to cover all your bases.
Yeah, Kakashi says he personally would use rechargeable. I charge every night. And if that's what it takes, that's great. But I know your light, that Surefire Stiletto, that's a rechargeable light. It doesn't need every night. Like, I mean, you've gone weeks without charging that thing and still good.
Oh, I really haven't charged it very much at all, actually. And I haven't had a problem. It keeps turning on. But, it's one of those things, like I said, I probably don't check it every day, but I will check it when I'm gearing up, putting a knife, flashlight, all that stuff. I'll check it and make sure, it's still turning on. And, with those, you can kind of tell it's getting a little dimmer. You go, ooh, it's getting dimmer. Let me hit it on charge. And it charges up really fast.
We have some really good comments coming in. Texas Hawk says the USB rechargeable ones need a little bit more development before I'm ready for that. I'm guessing to risk his life. What happens when the power is out and you already forgot? It's a good point.
Yeah. That's the thing. We were kind of talking about that before we went on the air. I think, when it comes to like hunting stuff, I know that you could carry a little recharge block with you. Probably not a bad idea anyway. But I'm kind of a belt suspenders kind of guy, especially if you're going to be going out into the woods for a hunt. I kind of like the idea of saying I can just grab a pack of AA's or AAA's or CR123s or whatever and be good for a while.
I'm going to touch on Marshall J's comment real quick. Just because we just shot this gun, and personally I'm going to buy this gun because it's so awesome. He says he bought the Sig P320X Compact and he put in a red dot on it, but have to remove the rear sight. That's not ideal. I agree with you, Marshall J. 1 year later, Sig made the RX Compact with co-witness height sights with the red dot. Now he has to buy a new slide. Doesn't that always happen?
Always the way, man. It drives you crazy. Why do they have to keep innovating?
Yeah, wait for Gen 2, I guess. I don't know. But we shot that gun this week, and I love it. And that red dot, I think the Romeo, not the Romeo 0, it's the Romeo 1, but it goes, man, like 50,000 hours, something like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're sweet. Over on Facebook, Rick says, I usually do it on Christmas. My family knows to get me guns and gear as gifts. And that's actually interesting because that's probably a good idea. I mean, Christmas time, a lot of new gifts coming in, and probably a good time to bust out the batteries. Maybe it's a stocking stuffer, batteries for everybody, and then just swap everything out, and you're good for a year. Probably it'll last a lot longer than a year. Yeah, I like that. What's the verdict on YouTube? I know that YouTubers like to
now they're on
chime
to
in.
talking about guns that they won or bought, and then they come out with something better. Just like the P365, Boyd won, and then they come out with the P365 SAS. So that's the verdict.
That's always the way,
now.
man. I know. Well, we'll tell all the gun companies to stop making better stuff. Don't iterate. Just, rest on your laurels. I'm just kidding. That's just the way it is, man. It's always fun. It gives us a reason to buy more guns. What's wrong with that?
Exactly. And don't forget, guys, sign up for those newsletters, ring the bells, and sign up for all our platforms so you guys can be engaged. Remember, every comment you guys put on there from now until next Thursday is a chance to win the Lockdown Prize Pack with Magnet and Yeti Cup. And don't forget, John, you won the Olight lights. So reach out to me, kj@guntalk.com, and I'll get those out to you.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys, for watching Gun Talk Live. You guys get out there, do some shooting. Take somebody with you. +1 movement. Get that thing going. Increase our ranks. Everybody be safe out there. Have a good week.
Thanks for watching Gun Talk Live. For more great gun content, subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. You can always watch the Gun Talk channels on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon. And of course, you can always find us at guntalk.com. Thanks for watching.